So let me take a second to make sure that I am streaming on Facebook, and nice, should be going. Hopefully you are having a beautiful day. It is a gorgeous day here on Mount Shasta, so I'm going to just say a prayer. Thank you so much, God and Goddess, for all of this lovely nature surrounding me. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to have this platform and share your message with the world. Please help us to continue to be enlightened and continue to ascend the golden ladder, forgiving others and being forgiven ourselves. Help lead and guide us, and help to give us the resources that we need to not just take care of ourselves, but even more so to give to others and help the world around us become a garden paradise once more. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. So today is a family day, and the prayer is... Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To my family and friends, send your angel of love. Hopefully you'll take some time today to reach out to your loved ones and maybe think about different ways that you can improve those relationships and foster peace in them. On my way up the mountain, I was thinking about one of the verses that Miriam said, which I should have marked it, but it basically was saying that a sister who requires a sinless sister will remain sisterless. A brother who requires a sinless brother will remain brotherless. And this idea of us requiring these perfections from our own family, and I myself have walked away from relation with my family, closer relationship with my family members because of especially veganism and the weight of that. Especially for me, it's very emotional and frustrating because I know that these are good and godly people and they just haven't made the connection yet of veganism, and I need to work on my own approach and giving the final nod to love, so the scriptures say, so that we're not just so focused on wisdom like I have been, and the truth, that I actually cause more division than is completely necessary at all in my own family, and end up in a situation where I don't feel like I am very connected with them. And whether or not we have things in common on the religious and spiritual front, whatever that is, which we still do, right? They are Aaronite Paulian Christians, and I consider myself a Nasarean Christian, so there is similarities, and ultimately we all of our intent is to try to do what God, well, they would say God, I would say God and Goddess, want us to do. So the intent is pure, and having that, going into all these situations and having that compassion and love and understanding and trying to foster those relationships and be the light in those situations. Because right now I'm basically kind of have cut myself off because, you guys aren't vegan. How can we foster this relationship when your lifestyle of eating animals is directly against literally what my soul came here to do? So it's kind of a struggle, and I have not handled it well up till now. I'm planning to visit my family for my brother's wedding in September, so we'll see how I can go there with these beautiful teachings in hand and really make a difference and show them a better way. So that's my goal. I'll say hi in the live chat, but today I wanted to read a little bit about the Immaculate Conception for multiple reasons, not just including the fact that it ties in with family, but there are allegations about Mary, the mother of Christ, being very young in this order, and there is some confusion because in the Megillah it says that she's 13 years old, and there's an allegation of essentially sexual misconduct in this, and I wanted to dispel any of those rumors and focus on that. So really quick in the live chat, David D says, love the photo of you. Oh, thanks. I went up to a Panther Meadow recently, and it was really, really pretty. I have never really walked through the whole walking area up to where the water is, but I went there recently, and then Bob and Dave and I went to Ascension Rock, and what Bob called the Lemurian temple down at Red Fur Flat, which also we got to see the campground, and the wheels in my mind started spinning. As many of you know, I think I mentioned it maybe, but a few months ago, I was starting to think about planning an Essene gathering in Mount Shasta. And so when we visited down there at that place, and it had this really nice campground for a group, and it's really easily accessible, and Ascension Rock is like right there in it. I'm getting really excited about what the future holds, and hopefully next August maybe I will be hosting an Essene gathering here in Mount Shasta. So we'll see what happens with that. Hey Rocket, how's it going? Hello Queenie. David T says, please God and Goddess help us create a better world. Exactly. Hey Bob. Bob says, greetings from the premier coffee shop in Mount Shasta. Oh, are you at... I want to say Theory because it's right on the corner. I'm not really sure what they would call the premier coffee shop besides for that. But it's a really nice setup there, and they got some pretty good lattes. Well, actually, I get the tea when I go there. So Raka says, I'm really trying to learn all this. I'm not trying to argue. Okay, cool. I'm really looking for answers, so please forgive me for all the questions. No need to apologize for questions. If you're a sincere seeker, I welcome that with open arms. I just also I just don't want to get pulled into arguments. So that's kind of why I was saying that. I appreciate you saying that your intent is pure and clearing that up. Bob says, it was my pleasure showing Inanna and friend Dave Ascension Rock and the Lemurian Temple. Yeah, that was really, really cool. And I'll definitely plan on taking people there when they come to Mount Shasta to visit, or at least pointing them in the direction of those areas, because even when we walked up to the Ascension Rock spot, Bob might remember that I walked right up to the spot that he mentioned that there was a portal as well, like kind of naturally felt drawn to that one area, and that was really cool. So I appreciate the experience. And he mentioned that there is a portal up at Old Ski Bowl that we might get to visit before he leaves. So that'll be really exciting. And I'll have to share with you guys some of these adventures in the future. Maybe go and take the camera and walk around so that you can explore as well, for those that aren't able to make it to Mount Shasta yet. In the future, we should have free travel so that all of the Earth's citizens can travel to all of the places. There shouldn't be these borders and wars over borders and this possessive, combative way of life. We should all be trying to get along and understanding that we are all Earth citizens, and we're all brothers and sisters, whether we're in this skin, the skin of an animal, no matter what color the skin is, no matter all of these different factors, we're all brothers and sisters, and we need to come together in unity and really embrace that. So that being said, I wanted to just look in here a little bit about the Immaculate Conception and talk to you about this order. I personally feel very drawn to this. If you've been watching my show for any amount of time, you know that I talk about having a child that's holy from the womb and purposefully trying to bring in that higher vibrational soul into this realm. So when this is chapter 3 of the Holy God Spell. I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit just so that you can get a little bit of the information. We'll talk about it. Proper vessels must be prepared to receive the souls of the Lord and Lady, and this scroll will show the way. This scroll was called the Order of the Immaculate Conception, and it was not included in the Holy Megillah. There's specific teachings that are only for different orders, which I totally understand. And also, it's not exactly pertinent to everybody because not everyone is going to choose to participate in this order. Not all Nazarenes decided to become part of the Order of the Immaculate Conception. The rules were different in there as well, whereas the general Nazarenes were allowed to marry at age 18. When you were in the Order of the Immaculate Conception, you were allowed to marry at age 20. The teachings and the lessons were focused on having high vibrational sexual experiences with this one partner. You're working together with one person. It's not It's not an orgy or people going around with everybody else. That's not the purpose of this at all. To have that deep spiritual connection with one other soul, where you are purposefully doing meditations and prayers and purifying together and trying to bring in those higher vibrational souls. So children would be born into the order of the Immaculate Conception, right? And your parents would raise you with those teachings. And at a certain time, this says, this is verse 349 in chapter 3. Lo, one must be at least 13 years of age to take initiation into the order, and must not be older than 15. One must choose initiation of their own free will with the blessing of the parents required. So the whole initiation process, which we're going to see in just a minute, is that Mary was 13 when she decided to take initiation, which is, I just saw it. Anyways, you have to choose for yourself, right? You might have been born into the Immaculate Conception, but at some point you actually have to say, okay, this is either for me or I'm going to go my other way. So that is what the initiation was all about. It was not at all any exposing to sex or having sex or anything like that at all. Especially, these are children, okay? The age to marry in this order was even higher than the average humans. So any perversion that anybody is trying to detect in here is coming from their own imaginations or outside. This order was very pure. Lo, the word immaculate means pure. And and for the Lord and Lady to incarnate in human bodies, purified vessels must be prepared. So they were going to have over 7 generations of more and more purified beings, souls, generations that would eventually allow soul vessels that were so pure that the Lord and Lady could come into. It also mentions that not all who walk the path of the order of the Immaculate Conception will choose to make babies, for not all are called to parenthood. Some people just wanted to get in and purify themselves and align with the different teachings, right? So, this also mentions this is really great for us, because if you're like me, none of us were born into this order. But it says, even first or second generation Immaculate Conceptions attract beautiful souls. And with each additional Immaculate Conception in a family line, the beauty of the incarnating soul is magnified. Yea, to whatever degree parents purify themselves before conception, the purity of the soul attracted to the womb increases. And that is a foundational precept of the order of the Immaculate Conception. Any generation that embraces these disciplines for even one generation may see the birth of a holy child. This continues on to say, in truth, every child is a holy child and should be treated so. Be so treated. For lo, only when each babe born on earth is treated as a holy babe will earth become a heaven. Nevertheless, it is a spiritual truth that the more purified the parents are and the more spiritualized the conception is, the greater the likelihood of attracting to the womb a highly evolved soul. Just so you know, this is chapter 3, but I'm kind of skipping around to what I've already previously highlighted, just because I wanted to show you that. So then we come along to Mary and Joseph. This is kind of the whole point of what I wanted to bring about, because of Mary being initiated at such a young age, which again is natural and had nothing at all to do with any sexual encounter or any of that. So this actually says in chapter 5 that Mary and Joseph were both from bloodlines that apparently performed the Immaculate Conception for 6 consecutive generations. So these souls were very highly spiritual, I don't want to say evolved, because that word kind of has they were just very highly spiritual beings, okay? And it was them that become the mother and father of Christ. Mary, when she was 13, was initiated, and Joseph was 19. He was already there. It was actually a beautiful time in this little story, because the youths got to go on this little field trip to the Nasarean temple on the Holy Mount. And this was on top of Carmel, to have this ritual, right? And basically, when Mary, this is chapter 5:23, when Mary, standing before the altar of Yahweh, made her vow of initiation, Joseph beheld a vision. Yea, he saw an angel of Yahweh stand behind Mary. And he heard angelic voices sing praises to the chosen vessel of Omen, our God and goddess. And Joseph marveled, for apparently he was the only one to see this vision. As Joseph stood with the assembled brethren and sister, and he saw Mary look directly at him as though she could see his very soul. Within himself, he thought, though next year I am of age to marry, I will wait 7 years for this holy maiden, if she will have me, and if it be the will of Jaja. So again, see that last sentence as well. It's if it be the will of Jaja. And we'll see throughout this, not just this part, but even when it came to Miriam and Christ, they both personally wanted to have a child, but they went and prayed and they basically said, God, if it's your, like, I want this, but if it's your will, then please have it. And if it's not, then let us know. Like they're all about trying to find the will of God and goddess. So again, this order is holy and set above the rest. When Mary looked at Joseph, behold, she saw a vision. She saw an angel of Yahweh standing behind Joseph. And she heard angelic voices singing praises to the chosen seed of Omen, our God and goddess. And Mary marveled, for apparently she was the only one to see this vision. Within herself, she said, he is the chosen seed of Jaja. If he will have me, and if it will be the will of Jah and Jala, I will be his wife. So basically, it continues on to say, though they showed no apparent signs of witnessing the vision, several of the Nasarean priests and priestesses of the temple had indeed seen the angelic visions, yea, and had heard the angelic chorus. Within themselves they rejoiced. Like, how cool in this like higher spiritual setting, and you see these things happening. Like, how cool would that be to get to be able to witness the parents of Lord Christ literally like having this moment of realization and just so beautiful. So on the next chapter 6, it continues to say, when Mary was 20 and Joseph was 26, they were wed. So again, no child anything is going on. They waited until they were older than the average Nasareans to even get married. And how cool is this? They have their wedding, and then as part of this ritual, first, this is chapter 6, 21. After their marriage, Joseph and Mary were gifted a new home. Yea, they were gifted by the community with the Nasarean year in their home kibbutza east of Mount Carmel, which, how cool is that? Like, you get married and then you get gifted house too. So like, you don't even have to worry about all of these things. You get gifted a whole new energy space for you to go and start blooming your relationship in. So beautiful. For it was the Nasarean custom to so gift each newly married couple. And for 7 days, Joseph and Mary were excused from their community work that they might have a special time together. And for these 7 days, Joseph and Mary meditated and prayed, walked and ate, yea, and gardened with each other, but did not have intercourse. Lo, in this way, newlyweds were attuned one to the other before sharing the wedding bed. And this custom also taught newlyweds that the sexual fire should be neither denied nor left unrestrained. For in both extremes there is unbalance, and unbalance leads to pain. I'm just going to read the rest of this as well because it's kind of just interesting. Behold, within the order of the Immaculate Conception, young men and women were taught that there is profane sex, which should be avoided due to its harmful effects. And there is sacred sex, which is a great blessing from Jaja. Sacred sex is of 2 types. Lo, the first type of sacred sex is called Berekyah, Berekyah, which means Yah blesses. This is intercourse with the intention of conception. This intercourse is accompanied by certain prayers prescribed by the Holy Scroll of the Angel of the Immaculate Conception. Yea, and with spontaneous prayers from the heart of the participants composed in that sacred moment. And the purpose of those prayers is to attract a beautiful soul to the womb, a being of great love and light. For behold, the thoughts and feelings we have before and during conception attract certain souls and repel others. So just to pause there, like some of these prayers and in teachings would be part of what they would be learning, obviously at the appropriate time. They're not having a bunch of 5-year-olds sitting around and teaching them the ins and outs of sexual experiences, right? They're going to be teaching them the basics of kindness and love and pure thoughts and meditation and the mantras and connecting to God and Goddess and understanding very fundamental things that are going to be age appropriate. Lo, it is for the purpose of procreation that Yah sent forth the divine masculine and the divine feminine emanations. And this is the great gift, which is the gift of life, which is also the great blessing. Wherefore the Nasarean term for sex with the intention of conception is Barak Yah. For indeed, Yah does bless the holy embrace of all who make sacred the sexual embrace for purpose of holy conception. A family that I met recently kind of brought this up and mentioned that when they were trying to conceive their child, not only did they have daily communions, which ended up affecting the time of birth of their child, but they were also doing these prayers and singing mantras and all of these higher spiritual practices while they were conceiving to bring about their beautiful children, which they were beautiful. So continuing on in 38, behold, the second type of sacred sex is called Gemara, which means completion. This is not sex with intention of conception, but for pleasure and spiritual bliss, wherein the two merge as one in Yah. Behold, Gemara is a meditation practice in which the divine masculine merges with the divine feminine in the eternal now of Yah. Lo, in Gemara, the divine masculine and the divine feminine complete one another in the unity of Yah consciousness, in sacred embrace as lover and beloved, the culmination of their play. Behold, Gemara often includes intercourse, but need not. For lo, in the sacred embrace, even a stroke of the cheek while gazing into the eyes of your beloved may complete you. Likewise, the sharing of a cup of tea. But know this, Gemara is a way of awakening to the completeness that already exists within us, for Yah is within. Yea, we are complete within, and Gemara is a way to taste this truth. In this way is the play of him and her, which is their play in their ecstasy. So I just wanted to point that out and read to you a little bit about the order of the Immaculate Conception. Like I said, I really resonate with those teachings, and as soon as I can hopefully get access to the actual scrolls of that, I'm really excited to see what those teachings have. Although I know that there are a lot of the tantric teachings in this book as well, I'm really looking forward to the more hidden scrolls and what they have in store in the wisdom of that, because I'm obsessed with being a mom, and I want to bring in the highest vibrational babies that I possibly can when the time is right. The time is not right now. The time right now is to focus on changing the world and not focus on trying to hurry up and fix ourselves so that we can not mess up a child that's going to hopefully help fix the world, right? That's a lot. So anyways, I am going to check the live chat and... Noah, hello. Have I got a song for you? Look up Nightwish, Dead to the World. Wait for the reprise during the song. Okay, cool. I will look into that. I'll have to write it down really quick. Nightwish. So that I remember. Noah also says, what book is this? In the comment or in the description below, it has a link to where you can acquire this. This is the Holy Megillah, the Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way. These are the original scrolls, way closer to the original scrolls than the mainstream Bible, that is. I believe that these are divinely inspired words and that they do come from the pen of Abdiel and those that are quoted as coming from in this book. I think that if you read it and seek understanding and pray for guidance and discernment, that the truth will reveal itself to you. And I'll also put in the description a link to the free PDF, which doesn't include the whole text as of this point yet, but it includes up at least until I think chapter 49 or 50, and will allow you to at least get your feet wet, so to speak, in the book and see if it resonates with you. It definitely resonates with me. It's changed me a lot and continues to do so. So here is the PDF to that. It should be showing up in your thing there. David D says, the Holy Megillah. Will you get access to the original scrolls? That is an interesting question. I am not sure what I will have access to. And frankly, whether or not I have access to the actual scroll itself or a picture of the scroll or a digitized copy, whatever, I would just love to be able to see it. I know that there is caution around the protection of the scrolls. And I also know that if those that are protecting it asked God and Goddess for, my intent, and if I was okay to be around these and have no ill intent towards them, I know that I would be given the green light in that manner. But I'm not trying to push anybody's point of safety. I'm not asking for that to present the scrolls or whatever, but I would love to have that. But yeah, anyways, would you be able to translate them? I have learned throughout the years a little bit of Hebrew. I know that ancient Nasarean Hebrew is not the same as modern Hebrew though, so there would definitely be some learning that needs to happen. And when I started following the Torah and getting into that in the Aaronic Bible, at least, I started to learn Hebrew and wanted to. And perhaps some of those things were thwarted because it was not the true way, which is always really cool, right? When something doesn't work out like the good book says, well, let's actually just read it really quick if I can find it. The story of when Christ is getting crucified, essentially, and he's carrying the cross. This is when Zacchaeus is mentioned in this book, and I could just read it really quick because it is pertinent. So this is chapter 97, verse 21. And the next morning, Yeshua, along with 2 common criminals, was taken to be crucified. Due to the injuries from his severe whipping, Yeshua could hardly walk and struggled under the weight of the cross that he was made to carry up the path to the place of crucifixion. A man named Zacchaeus, a tax collector, was moved by compassion to help Yeshua carry the cross. Let me just turn this off really quick. A man named Zacchaeus, a tax collector, was moved by compassion to help Yeshua carry the cross. The soldiers permitted the assistance because they wanted to get up the hill in a hurry. Yeshua, despite his pain and exhaustion, looked into the eyes of Zacchaeus and said, Jaja will bless your life for this and every other act of kindness that you perform. You are a kind soul. Zacchaeus replied, the people despise me because I collect taxes. I would prefer to do other work, but I have no other training and 7 children to feed. Yeshua, looking at the onlookers on the side of the road that they walked, recognized a Nasarean lion of Zion, disguised as a peasant. That lion had been about to offer to help carry the cross when Zacchaeus intervened, replied, Jaja does not despise you. Then, speaking loud enough for the disguised lion of Zion to hear, Yeshua said to Zacchaeus, tomorrow, come to the spot where you first offered to help carry my cross. A man will meet you there. He will see that you receive training as a carpenter as his apprentice. Even in your training, he will pay you enough to feed your family. Yeshua looked into the eyes of the Nasarean lion who walked along the same road, listening. The lion, who earned his daily bread as an extremely successful carpenter, nodded affirmatively to Yeshua. Zacchaeus said, that would be a dream come true. Yeshua replied, the best dreams of the kind-hearted often do come true. And when they don't, it is because something even better is being brewed in the cauldron of Jaja. I love that. Such a positive story, and the fact that all of that could work out, that he needed a new job, it's just really cool how in these stories, God and Goddess always make all of these little things work out and just happen to have all these interconnected stories that just have happy endings. And whether or not you believe this is true, I fully believe that the divine is working in this world in these manners, in the unseen world, to make things happen for us, to align our paths. And especially the more that we pray for that guidance and for that intervention in our lives to take place, so that we are allowing that to happen, the more that we literally allow it to happen, that we open the door for that. Shotgun said, I read conception as a constellation and thought we would be talking about extraterrestrials. Well, we might have to talk about them someday. He said, I'm not in the right place. Maybe not. There is a lot of extraterrestrial talk around here, and we'll have to get into that at a different point because I'm about to get off of here. But I definitely believe that there are other species out here, and they're interdimensional, not species from other planets like in the globe Earth deception, and we'll see what kind of revelations that they come about. Obviously there are going to be species and beings that are good and species that are bad, and species that are bad pretending to be good and good pretending to be bad. I guess I should say individuals, right? It's not the whole species. But we need to be just really cautious about any of the sort of deceptions that they have down the line for us, including Project Bluebeam and this alien invasion. Whether it's these green aliens that are our enemy and now we all have to unite under whatever galactic like, I don't really know what they have set in plans, and their plans aren't set in stone. They'll react based on us and how we are and what our knowledge, awareness, consciousness is. They could also just have the Pleiadians or whatever, the blonde hair, blue eyes, either be the heroes against the other aliens or just be here to come and save us and start the golden age or whatever. Personally, I'm not going to buy any of that. I know that us humans are the ones that are here to make that golden age happen. The government is not your friend. They're not helping, no matter what Trump or the other powers that be try to say. Their golden age is where they are still ruling over us. Bob actually just sent me something about Trump that was supposedly considering passing a law that allowed anyone that faked their death to basically come back on the scene without being harassed or contacted unless they wanted to, which is just an excuse for these people people, if you could call them that have been involved in massive psyops that have traumatized humans. Whether or not these celebrities are good or not, humans have formed attachments to them, and when they get killed or die off, there's all this trauma and loosh that is happening around, and we shouldn't just be like, oh, that's fine, whatever, you're good. And it's just, I get very fired up about this, but the powers that be are trying to pretend like they're our friends, and they're not. No matter what they have planned for us, just keep in mind that they have nefarious plans and that there is a way out. We don't have to go through whatever they're planning for us. We can always change course, and that's the exciting and hopeful message that I hope that you hold on to. No matter what dark times come ahead, there is light at the end of the tunnel, whether that light is the light of heaven on the other side because you don't last the war. Either way, there's always hope, and there's going to be a better tomorrow once we get through these storms. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'm going to pull this back up just to say to my family and friends, which includes you lovely people, send your angel of love. I hope that you feel comforted today and loved, because I love you, and God and Goddess, your mother and father love you. You are loved, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and